Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar host, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck podcast brought to you by LineStar DFS. Check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB, and get the app. It is outstanding for all sports, not just baseball. We'll do football with you in the fall. They have basketball, all the good stuff, golf. Check it out, the Apple App Store, Google Play, all that good stuff. You can check me out on Twitter at BDentric and my co-host on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how we doing?
I'm good, man. I'm not great because Taijuan Walker got squeezed and struck out 7, which was nice, over 3 2/3, but also walked 6. So gotta hate it when you get squeezed by an umpire behind there. But I mean the hitters that we picked did well, but the pitching was rough. Unless you did pay up for Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes, pretty good night.
Yeah, dude, he's just something else. He's like, people that haven't figured it out yet. We record the night before, and he's into the sixth inning now, and he is through 5 shutout. He has like 8 Ks, and it's just filthy. It's
down.
It's unbelievable how good he is. I know there's no Machado, no Tatis. I don't think it would matter. I really don't. He's so freaking good right now.
Locked in, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how good he is. Paddock actually has fared well. He's close to 20 fantasy points on DraftKings. I think 30-something on FanDuel before he got yanked in the 5th. So he didn't get completely destroyed, surprisingly. But overall, it was kind of a weird pitching day, as you'd expect. The Giants went off. The Rays went off. Like, there was some big-time offense. The Marlins-Baltimore game went off. Offense was everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of good bats today, which was nice. Of course, didn't get my homer again from Nolan Arenado. Who did you pick again? Who was yours?
Ryan McMahon. Got on base a couple times, but he did not homer. Nope, didn't happen.
Yeah, it was. I guess a rough day overall. Outside of some, you had Pavin Smith. That game did get suspended, but you had 3 hits from Pavin Smith. You talked about Carson Kelly, who drove in a run. So a D-back stack worked pretty well today too. So like you said, bats were alive for sure.
Yeah, the Pavin Smith, Cole Calhoun, DJ Stewart, 3 outfielders under 3K, all had a double-digit fantasy points, so I'll take that all day long. One thing, and I bring that up for the reason that some of the early stuff I've seen data-wise from like people way smarter than myself have shown the winning tournaments, the stacking options and whatnot, and then you have shown like 4 to 5 man one stacks and one-offs. And what's been trending a lot, and it even happened on Monday night, because if you follow LineStar or you have the LineStar app, you can look up the winning lineups and the optimal lineups from each slate. And the Monday night one had 3 outfielders all below 3K. And this has been a trend because a lot of the main value, at least on DraftKings, FanDuel's got value everywhere. The DraftKings value, it's in the outfield. So it's just something to consider when you guys are building lineups. Don't feel like, it's never comfortable punting. But
right.
The outfield's the place to do it. Is what I'm trying to say. So.
I gotcha. Yeah. It's there are some cheap options. I mean, how do you say his name? The guy for Atlanta, Adrianza.
He used to be a Giant. He came up with the Giant system. It's Erhi Adrianza.
Okay. He was leading off, and he was free $2,000 on. I think both.
Yeah, that came up in the chat. If you have the app, you can go to the chat too. And I'm not just a company, man. It's the truth. And the second the lineup came out, I was just like, okay, I plugged him into a cash lineup. He just became a 2K play that you're going to roll with. And hint, I'm going to use him again on Wednesday. So against Corey Kluber, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Before we talk about the actual 7-game DK slate, 6-game FanDuel main slate, there are 5 to 6 day games. Just keep that in mind. If you need information on that, the app has it broken down by slate. They'll be chatting it up in there. Get all your information there. We're here to do the main slate in the afternoon, evening. And I say afternoon, evening because it starts at 6:10 Eastern. So it's even earlier than Tuesday's slate. Keep that in mind.
Afternoon for us, for sure.
Yes, exactly. Afternoon for us West Coasters, the best coasters. And the reason why FanDuel only has 6 games compared to DK's 7 is FanDuel is not using game 2 of the Tigers-Pirates doubleheader. So keep that in mind when you're building your lineups. If you are using DraftKings, only 7 innings.
There's a ton of weather stuff for today too, isn't there?
Yeah, it's nasty. And I'm not going to go over the early slate, but pay attention to that as well. But when you just talk main slate only for the weather, I'm going to go through it. Chicago at Cleveland, wind blowing in from left field about 12 miles an hour. And a lot of this can change, obviously. Right. But it's blowing in at 12 miles an hour, and the temperatures are mid-30s to low 40s. So very cold. Keep that in mind. Braves, Yankees, blowing out to right field at 16 miles an hour. That's great. But it's wet all day, and it peters off as the evening goes on. So it looks like if this holds, if they start late, they should get the game in. So
okay, so maybe a rain delay to start, but
yeah,
they
so
should
keep
get it
that
in.
one in mind. That's going to be one to follow, because if it does, if that wind's blowing out, short porch and right, thank you, Braves.
Like that. Yeah.
D-backs, Reds. This one's going to be fun because they're probably have to finish the game from Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And there's about 20% chances of rain that eventually dies off late into the evening. So we're going to see how that goes.
That's what it was supposed to happen today. It was supposed to there was like a 30% chance of rain at the end at like 10, East Coast time. And it started just, I thought they're going to have to start loading up, animals 2x2. It was absolutely pouring. And they let, I can't remember who was pitching,
but Sims.
Yeah, it's Sims. They let Sims kind of finish the batter when it was pouring, and he walked the guy with the bases loaded, so the D-backs went up a run. But I think because of that, they're going to go ahead and finish it off tomorrow. So hopefully they get everything in.
Yeah, and it was if you can find the footage, people, check it out. Sims basically makes the umpires call the game, because they kept giving him a ball. He said it was too wet, give me a new ball, and they wouldn't give him a new ball. He's like, well, I'm not going to pitch. That's pretty much how it happened. It was pretty impressive. As we go on farther, Toronto at Boston, and this is a game I wanted to stack the daylights out of, but I'm just going to say it. Wind's blowing out to center at 15 miles an hour, 50% to 75% chances of rain all throughout the evening.
Jeez. I mean, 50 to 75%. So,
yeah. And it's an AL East game. They're going to play each other a lot more. Like, this is one you can easily see them going, yep, I'm out. See you guys.
Yeah.
So just I hope the rain changes on this one, because this is a very stackable game.
It is.
Mets, Cubs, that one doesn't look too bad. Maybe slight showers. I wouldn't be too overly concerned there. And then Rays, Kansas City actually looks 0% chance of rain.
Oh, look, stack that game, because it's the one that 100% will play.
Yeah. And now our look is the one that snow will come.
Ungodly floods, right? Something.
Yeah. So if you guys understood all that, there's 7 games, and 4 to 5 of them have 20 to 75% chances of rain. So just keep an eye on this. It's going to be we might have a 3-game slate by the time it's all said and done. That's all I can say. But we're going to break it all down for you. And we're going to start with the first game of that, 6:10 Eastern, White Sox at Indians. We have the wonderful Savali versus they're calling up Stever. He was on the alternate training site. Since they're calling him up, we don't have a total on this game yet, Bogman. But Savali is 10-1 on DK, and he's a wonderful 10-2 on FanDuel. Are you willing to pay up for the highest priced pitcher on the slate, in Aaron Savali?
Yeah, because Stever sounds like Jobber from the WWE. You know what I mean? Like just some dude that comes up, gets roughed up by The Rock, and then is gone. So I mean, I don't know anything about Stever, so maybe he's a good pitcher, but I'm going to go ahead and pay up for Savali. This is one of the games with only slight rain issues today, and Savali is playing pretty well. Now, we thought Mercedes got hurt today, but it turns out it was just a defensive replacement, at least according to Tony La Russa. So who knows if he's actually telling the truth. But yes, I'll pay up for Savali today.
Yeah, speaking of bad managing, Don Mattingly in the 4th inning, double switching Jazz Chisholm out of the game. He deserves to be fired for that. And then secondly, he mismanaged everything. The very last batter of the game, when they had a runner on down 2, they had to use a pitcher, Pablo Lopez, because they had no more bench bats. Don Mattingly should be fired, immediately. Horrible managing, but different story. You said La Russa, I think bad manager. I go down that hole. I'm with you on Savali, and I don't like paying this price for Savali on most slates, but he's the clear ace to me on this slate. And there's so much weather issues and so many bad just pitching in general, because we get 2 days of aces, and then it's 3 days of ugh. This is our day, and Savali kind of cracks the code. So I'm there if you want to pay up. In tournaments, you can get different and avoid them if you want. You could probably stack Chicago if you want in a tournament, because everyone's going to be on the same page we are, I think. What bats do you like in this game?
I mean, the big ones are okay. Franmil Reyes at 5,100, 5,000 for Reyes, Luplow's been pretty nice. He's 4,000. Cesar Hernandez is 4,000. So, I think I'd be willing to pay for those. Luplow 2,700 on FanDuel, Reyes 3,200, Cesar Hernandez 2,200. So there's some cheap options on FanDuel as well. So, there's some decent track record. I mean, for whatever reason, Tim Anderson kind of owns Savale, 5 for 15, 2 doubles and a homer. Yoan Moncada is 6 for 14 with a double. So those are some pretty decent buys today.
Yeah, and Tim Anderson's swinging a really hot bat right now since he came back from his little interlist stand. So I don't hate that at all. I will say I do like the Indians. You mentioned J-Ram. I like the Luplow call because people usually target Luplow versus lefties. I think 3 of his last 4 home runs, including on Tuesday, came against right-handed pitching. So don't let that fool you there. And the only other one I'm going to mention, if you're like, say you want to go big Cleveland stack or you're looking for a value play in your Cleveland stack, Josh Naylor's hitting 6th, hitting a little better these days. He's 3K on DK and he's 21 on FanDuel. So
that guy looks like a different human being. I saw him and he was just a taller version of me. Big fat gut, completely out of shape. And when I saw him in spring, I was like, oh my God. I know a lot of people talk about the best shape of my life and all that stuff. He definitely is in it right now. So good for him.
Yeah, he had that big postseason last year, and it seems like took him a little bit to get going, but the last 5 to 6 days, I'd say, he's starting to hit the ball a little better. So I'm interested in him until he gets things going. Next game on the slate, we have the Braves at the Yankees. Ian Anderson, Corey Kluber, total of 9 on this slate. That's a high total on this slate, and I like it. I'm going to say that much. You have Ian Anderson at 78, Kluber at 65 on FanDuel, but you can flip it and reverse it on DraftKings. Kluber's
Missy
93.
Elliott here?
Yeah, you like that. Don't make me keep going with that. I've already sang once in the first 2 weeks of the show. We need to slow this down. Kluber's 93 on DK. Ian Anderson's 84. I'm in on Anderson, especially on DK with the limited pitching. Like I talked about Morton got you over 20 points. Strikeouts are there against this Yankees team. But Klubot, I'm going to play the Braves. Are you interested in using Kluber today?
No, I mean you said the wind blowing out in this game. Give me the bats here. I don't want either of the pitchers. Pass.
All right, what bats are you looking at?
The big ones. Very little PVB data today, by the way. Just not a lot sinking in. I mean, if anyone has unless it's 4 for 4 or 4 for 5 against someone. If you have less than 5 plate appearances, I'm not going to pay attention to it. But, Freddie Freeman, 5,900, 4,100. Aaron Judge, 5,339. I'm willing to also pay for Stanton at 44 and 38. But Gio Urshela at 35, 2,400. And Adrianza, if he's back up at the top, he's actually cheaper on DK, 2,100 and 2,400 on FanDuel. So nice cheap option again.
Yep, I'll be 100% back on Adrianza, and I think he will be. He's it'll be 3 straight games now, or 2. I don't know if he got the double-digit fantasy points today, but he had back-to-back double-digit games going into today, including a home run, and he's been hitting up the top of that order with Acuna out. So I am back in on him as well at that discount. Love Freddie Freeman against Kluber. I love attacking Kluber. He's just the price discrepancy says everything I needed to see. Like FanDuel sees it, DK does not. I'm gonna for one side with FanDuel on this, which is crazy, but I love the Braves on this one attacking the Yankees. I pray this game plays. We already said this is one of those that they just wait, maybe a late start. We're in. Let's do it, baseball. Don't screw this up. I think that one's an interleague game. They don't have a chance to reschedule that.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think they're going to wait that one out. Right. That's a good play. Arizona at Cincinnati. Merrill Kelly versus Tyler Mahle. Total is 8.5 in this one. This is a weird one because, Mahle, I like a lot. He's been good, but I won't like him at $9,500 on DraftKings so much. And on FanDuel, he's 88, a little more, palatable there. Kelly's 58 on FanDuel, 73 on DK. Any interest in the pitching on this one?
I mean, yeah, Mahle a little bit. You kind of don't want to mess with this game too much because of the potential for rain. And the rain I heard in Cincy turned into snow late tonight too. So it's cold out there, man. So, but Mahle is he's been pretty solid. His last start, he's only gone 5 innings. That's been his max so far this year. But he had 1 walk and 7 strikeouts and only 2 earned. That was pretty good. Kelly's been getting lit. 7 in 2 starts ago, 6 in his last start. I love Merrill Kelly. Graduated from my same high school from Scottsdale. Love the guy, but can't count on him. So I'm okay with Molly.
On this slate, I'm okay with Molly. I just wish he was back to his like mid 7s to low 8 price range on DraftKings. I think on FanDuel he's a very good price if you don't want to pay up for Savali. I could go there. Except on FanDuel, you want that quality start. And like you said, he's gone 5-4 and 5 innings in his 3 starts. He hasn't gone higher than 92 pitches. He's been extremely efficient, striking out 7, 6, and 9 in those outings. Like, so if he slips up at all, the fantasy production is going to bite him as well. I get it on this slate. I just wish that price was cheaper on DraftKings. FanDuel, I can stomach it a little bit, but maybe that lowers his ownership on DK as well. You mentioned fading Merrill Kelly, so what bats we using tonight?
Yeah, I mean, let's get us some Suarez in this lineup. 5,300, 3,100 on FanDuel. Great price there. Tyler Naquin, 51 and 4. Winker, 45 and 37. On the D-back side, there's some decent deals. Escobar, 44 and 34. David Peralta, 39 and 27. Pavin Smith, who you mentioned yesterday, and he got you 3 hits tonight, 35 and 2,400. Cole Calhoun, another guy you talked about, 3,000 and 2,600. So there's some decent buys in the bats on both ends here.
And that's my other part is I kind of want to use some more Diamondbacks bats for that value, and where they're hitting in the order makes them more valuable to me. And Molly, as good as he is, if he's off at all, lefties smash him. In the past. So that's kind of, you got the Escobars. Even Cabrera's been hitting cleanup for you guys and being productive. But like up at the top, Smith and Calhoun, just that 1-2 punch. I'm good with that. Yeah, so I like that quite a bit. Yeah. So they have some nice options there. But the Reds is the way to go. That's going to be the popular pick. I like it. Kyle Farmer started for Nick Castellanos today and went yard because Castellanos got put on the IL. So if you want another discount, you can go Kyle Farmer. There's definitely some angles to go in this game. Let's just hope it gets in because there could be some fireworks offensively in this one. All right, I have no more totals to talk about on this slate. So there's none available at all because no one knows what's going on. But Pittsburgh at Detroit, this is game 2 of the doubleheader. You have Mitch Keller. It's only on DraftKings. So Mitch Keller, 77. And you have Spencer Turnbull making his return from the COVID IL, supposed to go 75 to 80 pitches. He's 68. And Tariq Skubal's coming after him at 62. It's a 7-inning game. I can't trust either Detroit pitcher. Mitch Keller's been bad, but this is interesting, Bogman. Any thoughts here? It's like only because of the size of the slate and where we're at. It's like, can you go like 5, give up 4 runs and strike out like 6?
It's weird. It's weird too because I'm looking at MLB.com and they don't have a pitcher listed for Pittsburgh. It says Fulmer for Detroit in the first game and then Turnbull in the second game. So it seems like that's what we got for Detroit, but we don't know what mix of pitchers we're going to get for Pittsburgh here. So
yeah, and it could be someone else. And then you get some weird values. But that's what's weird. Usually game 2 of doubleheaders haven't been on slate, so I was surprised to see it on this slate.
Right, exactly. So I don't think I want to mess with the pitching until tomorrow just to see who actually is throwing for Pittsburgh. If it's Keller, I do like him though.
He's interesting just because of the matchup and the price. And again, it goes back to, we keep saying the slate. Like the slate dictates he's kind of in play. What about the bats though? Because Turnbull, then you got Skubal, 2 completely different types of pitchers in theory. But you have a Pittsburgh team that we like using the lefties and Moran and Reynolds and sometimes Frazier and Evans is hitting. Are we going back to them in a doubleheader, or are you just like, you know what, I'm good?
Yeah, no, I would go back with. Just the price on DK for these guys is nice. 3,800 for Moran, 37 for Reynolds and Evans. Badu is at 3,800 on the Detroit side with Candy at 4,100, Nunez at 42, and Ramos at 48. So yeah, there's some decent buys as far as bats go in this game.
Yep, no doubt about it. So definitely one to monitor. I think it's a good place to find value if needed. I really wanted to use some Pittsburgh on Tuesday, but we did not have a choice. All right, we're going to talk about this game, praying that it plays Toronto at Boston, just because it is an offensive bonanza if it does. That's what I really want. This. You have Garrett Richards pitching for Boston. He's 64 on FanDuel, and he's 7K on DK. FanDuel has the wrong picture for Toronto. It's Anthony K. At least that's everywhere I've read. It's Anthony K. Maybe he's moved somewhere else, but he's 6K on DK. No price on FanDuel right now. All I know, Bogman, is I'm not using pitchers, and I want so many bats in this game.
Yeah, I want so many bats, but you just said 50 to 75%
know.
chance of rain. So I can't imagine that, unless something changes in the morning, obviously, that's why. Have you ever seen the movie The Meteorologist? One with Nick Cage?
I can't say that I haven't. I'm very
Or
disappointed.
no, it's called Weatherman. Weatherman.
Okay, I've seen that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know why I called it meteorologist, but Weatherman.
Was that your word of the day calendar coming up today?
What's the spritzer today? When people are throwing apple pies at him and stuff because he always screws the weather up, So hopefully we get a Weatherman situation going on here and not a meteorologist situation, because that's nothing. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we get that. If that's the case, there are some bats that I like here. JD Martinez, obviously you can buy at any point, 61 and 44. Devers at 56 and 34. Bogarts 55 and 3,000. Verdugo has been white hot, 41 and 33 for him. On the Toronto side, well, actually, I forgot. Hunter Renfroe is down here at 33 and 2,500 as well. Kike Hernandez is at 39 and 27 on FanDuel, so that's pretty good. I'm only really interested in big bats for Toronto. Bichette 58-33, Vlad 57-4,000, and then Biggio 39 and 2,700.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too cute with the Toronto, like you said. Just kind of keep it simple there.
Right.
But you can go all over the board with Boston. Like you can go with the big dogs, like you mentioned. You can go cheap with Kike. Christian Arroyo, he had 3 hits on Tuesday. They had 2 on Monday. He's got 4 of the last 5 games. He's swinging it actually really well at the bottom of that order. Bobby Dahlback is heating up, and he's dirt cheap. He's 35 on DK. He's 22 on FanDuel. I mentioned him yesterday. He had 2 hits, a triple. He's productive. Like, you get the right matchup, and he just doesn't strike out 4 times. He's going to be fantasy relevant because he's still so cheap.
And they're going to get into that bullpen real quick. I mean,
Exactly.
Anthony K's last start 3 1/3. So, going to be going up against a lot of relief pitchers. So I like that too.
The only different Toronto guy I'll mention, Rowdy Tellez is 3K on DK and 21 on FanDuel.
Okay.
If you want some rowdy with Richards, I would. So basically this game, like we said, it's probably going to rain. That sucks. Build your lineup. If you know you'll be close to your phone throughout the day, then you're good. Hopefully they call it early. We've seen teams getting better at that. If they're not named the New York Mets or the Washington Nationals, that's been good. So keep an eye on that, and you can still make some changes beforehand. I doubt they call it after lock. Like I said, they'll play each other like 16 more times. So there's no reason to play around in this one. All right, Mets at Chicago, Wrigley Field special here. We got Zach Davies versus Peterson. Davies 88 on DK. He is 85 he's 57 on FanDuel. Peterson's 85 on FanDuel, and he's 71 on DK. These guys flipped it and reversed it. David Peterson's going to be extremely popular after his last start, and on this slate, it's hard to avoid him at 71, at least on DK.
I mean, I think you got to take him. He's probably going to be one of the higher owned pitchers, even with the price on both sites, because he was so good last start, and the Cubs have been so terrible recently. So, yeah, I'm going to be in on Peterson too.
Real quick, I agree. DK 71, he's one of the cheap options. There's one more option we'll talk about. He's cheap. On FanDuel at 85, would you rather go him at 85 or Molly at 88, consider if that game plays?
I think I'd rather go Peterson against the Cubs. The Cubs have just been brutal.
They've been very, very bad. Speaking of that, which bats would you like in this game? Is it all about the Mets against Davies and hoping the Mets wake up? Like, both these offenses have just been nice cold.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Bryant's been okay, and he's at 4,536. But, Baez, I guess, is an okay buy at 47-38. But Nimmo is 3 for 6 in his career off of Davies. Like you said, a nice cheap option pretty much every day, 36 and 3,000. Pilar has a little bit of success against Davies too. If he gets into the lineup for some reason, he's 2,300 and 2,100. After that, Jeff McNeil still cheap, still not hitting though, 36 and 25. And then Lindor 46 and 32 on FanDuel. I'll pay for that every day.
Yeah, Lindor's going to get going here sooner than later. It's just what he does. So I'm probably not doing too much with this game, but I do like the Nimmo price for sure. Maybe the rain will force me into this game. We'll see how it goes. Last game of the night, the one with 0% chance of rain right now. Tampa Bay at Kansas City. Michael Wacha versus Jacob Junis. Wacha 72 on DK. On FanDuel, he is not even there. That's great. On FanDuel, though, Jacob Junis is 73, on DK 64, and I'm going to play all of the Jacob Junis on DraftKings, and it terrifies me because I respect Tampa Bay, but I like what Jacob Junis is doing right now.
Yeah, you seemed you like Jacob Junis. He's one of your guys. If you see him in the lineup, you're gonna, in the slate, you're at least gonna get him in one lineup. So
yeah, he made a pitch mix change that's been pretty legit so far. So I'm there.
Mine was Taijuan Walker, but I don't know.
He was great. He was great until he got fat guy in a little jacket syndrome.
Hate it. But anyway, fat guy in a little jacket syndrome. For the bats, I'll go with Junis too. Before the bats here, Soler 3,426. I know he hasn't gotten it going yet, but he's 5 for 12 in his career off of Waka. Is it confirmed Waka?
On DK, it's Waka. That's what I'm going off of. While you talk, I'll check MLB.com.
Yeah, MLB says TBD still. So I don't know, maybe a beat writer or something we can look up real quick. But to go back to the bats, 5,100, 3,700 for Perez. On the Tampa Bay side, Brandon Lau 4 for 7 in his career off of Junis. So that's a pretty good 4,300, 2,800. Kevin Kiermaier 3 for 9 with a double and a bomb against Junis. 2,300, 2,100 if he gets in the lineup. And then there's some nice prices on Tampa Bay side here with some of these guys. 4,900 for DK, but 3,000 on FanDuel for Rosarena. Joey Wendell 4,235. Austin Meadows 41.31, and Manny Margot 2,900 and 2,700 on FanDuel for this game.
Yeah, I love the Margot price, and there's some other values that you mentioned there. So if you're not using Junis, there's definitely some options with Tampa Bay that doesn't bother me at all. I think the Royals side is quite interesting. The reason why I remember now, and I'm trying to find the answer for you. The reason why it was TBD at first, there's rumors that Honeywell was going to open and be followed by Walker like he was last time.
Oh, okay.
If he didn't pitch on Tuesday, but he pitched on Tuesday. So I'm assuming Walker starts then.
Yeah. The Rays are saying the Bally says it's going to be Walker versus Junis tomorrow. So I think that's good enough for us.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, I'm all about those KC bats. Tampa Bay, if you're not using Junis, I get it. I just think if you're looking for a cheap option on the slate, we'll rock and roll with that. So small slate, we think Savali's the way to go. Peterson's in play. You can mix and match some Molly and some Junis if you prefer, but it's pretty nasty, Bogman. What do you stack? What's your stack tonight? What's your favorite stack?
Probably Cincinnati against Arizona with Merrill Kelly on the mound. He's just, like I said, giving up 6 and 7 in his last couple games. Also, probably Boston if they play, but that's, you got to make sure. You got to check what's his name, Nick Cage, and make sure that they're actually doing the right stuff there. So, and there's going to be no rain, but 50 to 75% is brutal.
Yeah, I love Boston stack today. I really, really do. So that's a massive bummer. If I'm not going to Boston, I like your Cincy call, and then I like Atlanta versus Kluber. I think that's one I will attack. So let's do it, Bogman. Let's try to win some swag for the people, man. I feel like Nick Cage now. I'm broke. We're gonna try to make some swag with some home run calls. If you see the tweet, retweet it. It'll be myself, Bogman, and Ryan Humphreys giving our plays. Humphreys got screwed by the Chisholm play because he called him and Donnie Mattingly got him good. But on this wonderful Wednesday, Bogman, who are you picking as your home run call of the day?
Give me Eugenio Suarez against Merrill Kelly. That's going to be my bomb call for today. I'm pretty good against picking against the Diamondbacks. So you are
very good at that. That's a smart move on your part. Okay, so I'm gonna pick a Red Sox, and I'm gonna throw my caveat second pick in there if we need it for the podcast, so I don't get an email midday to have them change their avatar. I'm gonna go with Bobby Dahlback as my home run call, which yeah, I know it's out there. I know, but I just have this weird feeling. Bobby Dahlback against K is going deep. Now, for some reason, that game does not happen. Then we go to the one, the only Freddie Freeman versus Corey Kluber.
I almost took Freddie Freeman. That's a great call. Yeah.
So I went with the long shot in Dahlback. If not, we go to the safety net called Freddie Freeman. So there you go, folks. With all that being said, again, go check out the app, the LineStar app in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. Download it, use it. It is amazing stuff there. Rate and review the podcast on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. It would help us out a lot. And then check us out on YouTube if you prefer to watch this wonderful show, the LineStar YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, share, all the good stuff there. And with all that being said, I'm on Twitter at BDendrick, Bogman at Bogman Sports, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Good luck.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar app On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to linestarapp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.